this might be one of the most important videos that you're going to watch this year if you want to make money on YouTube. I found 5 things that you absolutely must know if you want to turn YouTube into a full-time career. So let's dive into these 5 things. Now, first, niche versus general focus. What happens is a lot of times when people get into YouTube, they start thinking about, okay, what am I going to make videos about? And what ends up happening is they start making videos about general topics, right? So it's important to emphasize here the importance of focusing on a niche rather than creating general content. Why? Because this is going to help you stand out. There's so many people creating content on YouTube, and there's so many people talking about the same things. So if you want to stand out on YouTube, what's important is to make niche content. Okay, so instead of making videos about how to be more productive or all these general kind of topics, you want to really niche down. Okay, so I always give this example of, like, let's say that there's all these communities out there, and let's say that it's a community of people who like to knit specifically on planes, right? So it's a niche of a sub niche, or it's a sub niche of a niche, right? So that's how deep you want to go. And the best thing is that you will find people who are into that stuff as well. So the first piece of advice and the first kind of my learning here is that you want to create niche content, and don't be afraid that, oh, no one is going to watch it, I'm not going to make any money from it. Matter of fact, the more niche you go, right, the better it is, because you're going to attract people who are going to be super loyal to you, right? You're not going to attract maybe a lot of people, but that's not a problem, because you don't need to have a lot of people watching your content to make a lot of money, which I will get into just in a second, right? Because what happens is a lot of time people get onto YouTube and they're like, oh, I need to get millions of views because that's how I get paid on YouTube, right? I need to get a shit ton of views, and then if I get all these views, I'm going to get paid on YouTube. But that's not actually the case, because if you are only going to be relying on YouTube for, the money, right, the ad revenue, that is already from the start not a good strategy, right? And I'm going to explain now just in a second why, right? And the reason for that is because, you don't actually own your channel on YouTube. Like, that's a shocking fact to a lot of people, but it's true. Like, if YouTube decides to terminate your channel for whatever reason, right? You can be doing everything right, oh, I'm not going to do anything wrong, whatever, it doesn't matter. If YouTube decides to terminate your channel, you're fucked. Straight up. So YouTube is great for generating traffic, for getting eyeballs onto the things that you're creating, but it's so important to get those people outside of YouTube onto a platform that you actually own. You want to establish a relationship with the people who are going to consume your content outside of YouTube, whether it's a school community, whether it's an email list, whatever it is, right? You want to get in contact with those people, and you want to kind of own their contact details outside of YouTube, right? YouTube ad revenue is great. I mean, I've generated tens of thousands of dollars with it, but I've generated way more outside of YouTube. But those people that bought something from me, they actually came from YouTube in the first hand, right? And that's what you see a lot of the creators do. I mean, we're talking about Iman Gaji and, Luke Belmar and, Biaheza, whoever you want to talk about, right? They all do the same thing, right? They create content on YouTube, and then they drive those people that watch their content somewhere outside, right? So that's super important. Now, the second thing that we want to talk here about is the trap of your niche, right? So a lot of people fall into this idea, and I was a victim of this myself, is falling into the trap of your niche, right? So I started off my YouTube channel in the e-commerce niche, right? So I was making videos about like drop shipping and, drop servicing. And, it's very hard to continue making videos in the same niche for like years to come, because you simply just run out of ideas, right? And then you also figure out patterns that, okay, certain videos are going to perform better than other videos. Like, for example, tutorial for beginners, they always work really well in any kind of niche, whether it's e-commerce or YouTube automation, whatever it is, right? And so creators often find that their audience expects content only within that niche, right? So if someone discovers your content through, let's say you're going to be making videos about knitting or e-commerce or whatever it is, right? They're going to be like, okay, this guy makes content about this. So the expectation is that, this guy is only going to, but you're going to run into a problem where you're going to be like, I don't want to just make content about this. I want to make content about all the other things, right? And this leads me to another point, which is making content that your audience wants rather than your own personal preference. And this leads me to another even further point, which is like search content versus browse content. Okay, so there's a lot to uncover here. Now let's take it step by step, right? Don't get overwhelmed. Let me explain it actually to you, right? So let's say that you take a niche, right? And you're going to start making content. Eventually you're going to run into this thing where you're going to, run out of ideas, or you're not going to feel like making videos about this, and you want to kind of express yourself creatively and with a different outlet, and you want to make something else, right? But your audience is like, hey, we're expecting content about this, so you better do this. So you're going to struggle with these demons in your head, like what to do, right? And then you might figure out that, okay, there's something which is called like search engine optimization, right? So people search for something specifically online, right? Then you might start thinking, that's kind of like how I went through it as well. And then you might say, okay, well, people look for this, so I'm going to make a video about that. I'm going to rank for that keyword, right? And then people who discover my content are going to discover it through search, right? But that's also a trap, right? Because, if you only stick with the search, you're not really building a loyal audience as well, right? So it's this fine balance between making content that your audience wants and also expressing yourself creatively, right? Because you might feel trapped to only make what the people want, right? Then you only start doing that, and then you lose kind of the touch with the touch with your own self, and then your creativity disappears, right? So that's kind of what it is. And my piece of advice here is to balance, basically, right? You want to make content that your audience wants, but then you also want to experiment with things that, are going to really move the needle, right? So that leads me to the next point, which is treating YouTube as a job, okay? So like I was telling you earlier in this video, a lot of people, when they want to make money on YouTube, they think, okay, I'm going to get views, right? And then from those views, I'm going to get ad revenue, and voila, I quit my job and I'm going to make a shit ton of money from YouTube. But that's not a good strategy. The good strategy is to say, okay, I'm going to help these people solve this problem with this vehicle, right? So you are helping people do some kind of a transformation. So let's say that, you're in a great shape, fitness, for example. Let's take it as an example. And then you say, okay, I'm going to help people who are, for example, overweight, right? That's your target audience. Lose weight. So that's a transformation, right? Get in shape with my, 6-week kind of de-bloating program, right? So you have this program where you help people cut down on sugars and like the bad foods they eat, right? So that reduces the inflammation, the bloating. Right away, they lose 2-3 kilograms of water weight, and then you put them onto like the training regimen, and right? So that's kind of, so what you want to do is you basically want to think yourself as a one-man business. That's the ultimate thing. You don't just want to think, oh, I'm going to make these creative video outlets and, people are going to watch and I'm going to be the next Mr. Beast. Like, that's super competitive, and you don't really own your channel, and you need to become like 0.0001% if you really want to go that route, right? For most of us, myself included, it's like, okay, I'm a one-man business. This is the people I help. This is what I offer of value to them. Right? And I use YouTube as one of the platforms to reach these people, right? Tell my story, get them interested in what I have to say, and then deliver them a transformation, right? And when I say deliver a transformation, eventually these people are going to pay you in order to work with you. You know what I mean? So like, if you can say, hey, I will help you lose 3 kilograms of weight in the next 6 weeks, and then within the next 12 months, you're going to get into like this amazing shape and lose another 6 kilograms and build a couple of kilograms of muscle mass, right? That's a very good transformation that is going to improve the quality of life, right? Like, so how much is that really worth? So I would say, and this is kind of my biggest takeaway, is that you want to treat YouTube as a platform to find people that you want to help, and not really help, like of course help, but with whom your stories are going to resonate, basically, right? You have like some stories to tell from your personal life, right? And so you want to tell those stories, and then those stories are going to resonate with someone, and then those people are going to, reach out, start watching you, start connecting with you, and then eventually they'll become your clients, right? If that is what you wish to do, right? So that's kind of my take on this whole YouTube thing, right? The biggest takeaway for you is to not rely on ad revenue alone. Treat YouTube more as a platform to get eyeballs. It's a great platform to get eyeballs, right? Especially if you're doing search content. That's like, I'm a big proponent of that. I mean, my whole podcast and my whole program is based around search content, right? So if you're targeting people who want to lose weight, right, they're probably looking for, how to lose weight fast, without doing this, without doing that. So you can make those videos, if you make a really good video, informative, that adds a lot of value, right? Has a good thumbnail, has a good structure to it. And then you post it, it takes some time, you rank for that keyword, and then you start getting consistent search traffic. And then you say, hey, by the way, if you would like to learn more, if you would like to kind of go further with me on this, if you feel like we can, be a good fit for each other, then you can, book a call with me, for example, or watch my free training, or, download a PDF or whatever it is. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's kind of what it is. I mean, through my journey, I've generated tens of thousands of dollars on YouTube. I've generated tens of thousands of dollars outside of YouTube. And, I did it primarily all with search content as well, right? So search is kind of my big thing, right? It's not this content that you make and you hope that it's going to get pushed by the algorithm. Instead, it's more like data driven. So you say, okay, this is the niche that we are targeting. These are the keywords in that niche that people are already looking for, right? These are the existing competitors. How can we make a better video, provide more value for those search terms? What are people not really finding? What are they missing? And then you create that product, which is an evergreen product, right? It's going to consistently get you traffic and views. And then from there, you drive that traffic towards whatever it is that you're offering, right? So let's say, for example, this case scenario, right? The interaction that we are having. So you're watching this video, right? You're probably interested in making money on YouTube, online, right? And then you come across this video, maybe, I don't know. And then, what I can tell you right now is, okay, well, if you find this video helpful, if you find this video valuable, I offer coaching program, right? I have a course, I have a coaching program. So if you want to learn how to make, money on YouTube, money online, if you want to go into more of that kind of personal brand, if you want to learn more about search, specifically like search content on YouTube, right? You can check out my free training. There's going to be a link down in the description. You can click that, you can watch the free training, and then you can book a call with me and we can see if we are a good fit for each other. And if we are, I can invite you to our community, our family, right? Where we will basically hold your hand and teach you everything that I and my business partner know, right? So that's what it is. I mean, that's in a nutshell. So let me know what you think about this video. Did you like it or not? It was raw, unedited, straight from the heart. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye.